Lesson 124. More about word order. We've already been telling you some things about Russian word order. We've been telling you that in Russian, the word order is much more flexible than in English. And one of the main reasons for this is the fact that Russian nouns are inflected. They can have different endings to show you what case they are. In Russian, there are 6 cases in all, and you know 4 of them so far: nominative, genitive, dative, and accusative. So if you have a noun that is in the accusative case, no matter where in the sentence you put that particular noun, it is still accusative. It is still performing the same function no matter where you put it. Likewise, if you have a dative noun, that's the indirect object, no matter where you put it, it's still doing the same thing in the sentence. This makes Russian word order much more flexible than English word order. In English, if we switch the word order around, it really changes the meaning of the sentence, because in English, we have certain expected word orders that communicate meaning. Wherever you position a word in the sentence, you're putting it in the slot where that kind of word is expected. And so the meaning that is conveyed is baked in. It's baked into the word order in a way that's not happening in Russian. So the big thing we want to tell you in this lesson is that you cannot expect a Russian sentence to have the same kind of word order that you would see in an English sentence. So what this means is that in Russian, you really have to pay attention to each individual word and figure out what that particular word is doing in the sentence apart from where it is located. So you have to think of word order and word function as 2 separate things. As a native English speaker, you may be accustomed to thinking of word position or word order as very closely tied to meaning. You know, the subject comes first, the verb comes second, that sort of thing. So you have to start to unravel that kind of thing as you venture deeper into Russian, into your knowledge of Russian grammar and Russian sentences. You have to develop a mental flexibility for how you might expect the words to be coming along in a sentence, that is, what order they come in. Our focus in this particular lesson is on the indirect object. In English, we have 2 ways to express an indirect object. If you go down a bit to where it says, "He is giving me the book," in English, we could word that sentence 2 ways. We could say, "He is giving me the book," or "He is giving the book to me." Either way, the same thing is being communicated. Now, an English grammarian might quibble with me and say, well, "He is giving me the book" is the only one that has a true indirect object. Really, me, because of where it's positioned, is a true indirect object, whereas in the sentence, "He is giving the book to me" really, technically, is a prepositional phrase, not a true indirect object. And that's fine. English grammarians can say that kind of thing. I'm looking at this grammatical structure through the lens of how it would be expressed in Russian, not in English. So I'm saying that these sentences, both of them, can communicate a Russian sentence that has me in the dative case, мне. So, in the Russian sentence, you can take that indirect object in the dative case and you can park it in different places. But it's going to mean the same thing because the Russian sentence does not depend on word order as much as a corresponding English sentence would. In Russian, it could be, "He is giving to me the book," or "He to me is giving the book." It could be in different orders, and that's just the way Russian is. So you have to evaluate each word independently and, again, develop a sense of mental flexibility as far as your expectations of what kind of word order you'll see in Russian. And as we say here in the book, This can also be done in spoken Russian through word stress, volume, also what we call intonation, if a person's voice rises in pitch or goes down in pitch. So in a written format, you've got word order, but then in a spoken format, you've got the way someone actually says the words. Voice intonation, volume, stress of a certain word. So the big point for this particular lesson is that you have to become mentally flexible in the way you view word order in a Russian sentence. The word order can vary much more than in a corresponding English sentence. And so you have to evaluate each word on its own individually.